the head and slugged and had bruises, but he didn't seek treatment for anything. He just kept working, so.
Of all the stories you've heard about what happened on January 6th at the Capitol building in Washington, you haven't heard this one. Because the mother of one of the Capitol police officers, who was in hand-to-hand combat and assaulted and wounded by the rioters, has never told her story until now. Whose broad stripes and bright stars. Nearly 2 years after the assault, congressional gold medals given to police officers for their heroic response on January 6th. One of them now belongs to Capitol Police Officer Joshua Call of Solvay. His proud parents already have their replica from the U.S. Mint.
This just feels different. It feels like it's, Congress and a nation saying thank you finally.
From the same room where she spent excruciating hours on January 6th, 2021, watching the horror on television, Kathee Dobe-Call is now ready to talk about what happened.
He was, pretty badly burned by bear spray. He said in the rush to get to the front, he didn't grab his gloves. And so that's how I can spot him, even though he's in full gear.
You can see his hands.
I recognize his hands, and those were pretty badly burned.
As the violence was escalating on January 6th, Kathee was running errands, and her phone was blowing up with news alerts. Her son Josh, who works in the Capitol Police Civil Disturbance Unit, was in the thick of it.
You had to have convinced yourself nothing can happen to him. That building is a fortress. It's so respected. Every once in a while, something minor,
right,
but a little crazy happens.
Right.
Somebody drives a car where they shouldn't.
Right.
A plane goes somewhere they shouldn't.
Right.
But no one in the world would think a Capitol police officer would be in urgent and utter danger.
Absolutely. And even in the days leading up to January 6th, we knew it was going to be a tense day and a very long day. We were anticipating, very long hours at work, but had no idea of the gravity.
As news broke there were fatalities, the anxiety at home escalated. Kathee texted her son, who started talking about a career in law enforcement right after 9/11, when he was in first grade. A simple 3-line text every mother knows the urgency of. I love you. I love you. I love you, she texted. Hours later, he called.
And it was a very brief phone call, a matter of seconds. The first words out of his mouth were, I'm okay, quickly followed by, I thought they were going to kill me. And then he said, I have to go. And hung up. But at least we knew he was okay.
And that was enough in the moment. After that day.
For the moment.
For the moment.
Yeah.
And the next time you talked to him?
So he was able to call back at about 11 o'clock that night and stay on for just a couple minutes. He said he was in Statuary Hall with some of the other officers, and he was exhausted and in pain and hungry. So that's when he just shared a little bit more of what had happened, and not much detail, just that he kept saying over and over, we thought we were going to die. We thought they were going to kill us. We thought we were going to die.
You must have wanted to be there, to transport yourself.
I just wanted to give him a hug. I so desperately wanted to hold him because I could hear the emotion in his voice.
That second phone call, Josh and fellow officers exhausted, hungry, and beat up, was captured by a photographer from the Washington Post. Kathee had it framed.
That's Josh. And he's on the phone. And that's the moment that he called us at 11 o'clock that night. And as grateful as I am for that call, I think that this is especially heart-wrenching for me to see this photo, because I know that Gladys Sicknick was texting Brian in the same way that I was during the day, to be careful and to stay safe, and I love you. And Gladys never got this phone call. But we did.
The Calls have become quite close with the family of Officer Brian Sicknick, who engaged with the rioters and died after suffering strokes the day after the attack.
What I most want people to understand is that Josh and all of his fellow officers were just doing their job that day. And they did it with courage, with integrity, without considering what side of the aisle anyone was on. They sought to protect every single person who was on the grounds that day, and did so with, incredible sacrifice and risk to their own lives. Josh doesn't like to be called a hero, but he is. He's a hero. All of his officers who he served with that day are heroes.
At least 964 people have been charged in the insurrection so far, but there has not been an arrest related to the assault on Kathe's son.
Tonight, we continue to follow the impact of the impending closure of Cazenovia College.
Our Mary Keeler sat down with the school president, David Berg, to press him on some of our lingering questions. She joins us live tonight in Cazenovia with the latest after wrapping up that conversation just a short time ago. Mary?
And it's definitely, you can tell what time of year it is. Students have cleared out here for the holiday break for the most part at Cazenovia College. But President David Berg and faculty and staff, they remain on campus. They had a holiday gathering with the president just before our interview this afternoon. And he says he reiterated to all of them that they're all in this together, but they all are in the same boat when it comes to a future of uncertainty. A Board of Trustees vote last Wednesday led to the announcement Cazenovia College President David Berg says he never wanted to make during a fall semester with only 571 students signed up.
It's hard to imagine this community without the college here. Our estimated economic impact is around $55 to $60 million a year, so that's significant.
President Berg only taking on the role at the helm of the college in February.
When you were taking on this role as president of Cazenovia College, was there frank conversation with the Board of Trustees about the significant challenges that were present for the college?
Yeah, I think I walked into this position eyes wide open, so to speak. I think hopeful that we would have the opportunity to pursue the initiatives that we knew we needed to, but also understanding that that we had some significant challenges, particularly if we weren't able to achieve long-term funding, which at that point we were still pursuing, and optimistically so at that point. So I knew that there was that it was not going to be an easy period regardless, but I was hopeful, obviously, to avoid this eventuality.
President Berg also telling me tonight that he is confident and he's happy with the way the notification went for students, staff, and the greater community once this decision was made. He says about a month before they actually officially announced the college was closing, that students and staff got an email letter from him saying that this is what would hypothetically happen if this decision had to be made. And coming up at 6 tonight, you're going to hear from him as I press him and question him about the late funding call from their alumni base just days before they decided and announced that they were closing.